Welcome back, everybody. This is Malik, and we're going to continue with the HackThisSite.org realistic missions. And we are at realistic number 12, the Heartland School District. So let's see what we need. We'll talk about what we need to understand to tackle this thing. So, schools are supposed to prepare students for the outside world, but how can they do this if students are kept from everything by overly protective administrators? Clear the blocked site list and help fight censorship in public schools. Alright, let's take the challenge. It says, hey, it's out there from HackThisSite.org. I've run into a problem I can't seem to solve. As you may know, I go to Heartland High School, and our school puts everything on the internet a few years ago. This was great, but then this really uptight guy, Jason Bardis, got a job as a computer teacher. He set up this overly restrictive web proxy and made it so school computers could only connect to the district site. He hates people who know more than him, so he blocked all the hacker sites, open source websites, even blocked Google. He's really paranoid about security, but I don't think he knows what he's doing. The district site is here, and it runs on some crappy Windows 95 machine, if that helps. Can you clear the list of blocked pages by giving admin access? Okay, so we got two things from this here. It's running on just a standard Windows box. So he's running like, IIS. Not a whole bunch of security in there, so it's just a matter of finding out what things are doing. And he has some sort of file inclusion list, whether it's keywords or entire site names. We're not really sure until we find it. So we need to, of course, study the layout of the pages and figure out what's going on. But it's really a matter of understanding what we're looking for. We're looking for really a blacklist of either blocked sites or blocked keywords that we really need to get rid of. So let's take a look at the site. So here it is, Heartland School District. So again, what we like to do in the beginning, take a look at our stuff. We have internet.pl. So we're dealing with Perl. And we have an address box right here. Okay, see, that looks a little bit different. Not only this address box, but we got an address box down here. It just says HTTP. Okay, this is going to be a giveaway on something. And if we start going to things like teacher pages, see, it still says internet.pl, HTTP, student work, internet.pl, HTTP, testing scores, internet.pl, HTTP. Okay. And then there's a link right here back to the main page. Alright, so what is going on with these pages? How are these pages loading? Because nothing's really changing up here. Well, if we take a look at the page source, in fact, let me kind of zoom in so you guys can see some things here. What we're going to see here is this is the head where here, Heartland School District, Internet Access, blah, blah, background color, text color. We have a form action here called internet.pl. Okay. And then later on, we're going to have an iframe source called page.pl, which basically tells it what page to pull. So we are dealing with iframes here. You don't see them too much around anymore, but this is an iframe, this is an iframe. So if I were to go to a different page, view the page source, you see how it's always going to look pretty much the same thing. And we do have a href that backs out, but again, we're going to see internet.pl, page.pl. Okay, let me go ahead and close those just so they're not open. Alright, so really we need to take a look around because we need to figure out how to inject something. So I'm already on teacher pages. Why don't we take a look at the teacher pages? That's Mr. Bardis, Miss Smith, or Mr. Smith. Ms. Engelbert. Okay, there's a link to a student. We have some student work. We got Tom. Okay, see kind of nothing we can do on these pages. Boyfriend's link to his page, which is that one. Link to his girlfriend's page, which is the one we just looked at. Okay. Okay. A little bit different here. Joey has actually got a guest book. But let's take a look at Sarah's page. Alright, so nothing on Sarah's page. So far as we can see, the only thing that we can do anything with is the guest book. So let's go into his guest book. Okay. So like we always do when we see a form field, it's always nice to inspect the element just to see what it's going to do. So what we see down here at the bottom, it says input name equals action, the value equals write, which is going to write in whatever we put inside of that box. The type is going to be hidden. It's going to be text, and then it's just going to submit it. So whatever text we type in that box, it is going to write it. It's going to write it to a file. Now the form action is guest.pl. That's the Perl that is probably going to tell it how to write the element. It's also that little part of that form field, or it's that entire form field there. So let's see if we can do anything with this. Well, we can try a couple of things. One of the first things that I would try is a very simple SQL injection. Well, we did get some stuff back. So these are things that have been written inside of there. Okay. So you can kind of hunt through, see if anything kind of pokes out at us. Okay. Now that's one thing we can do. Another thing that we can do is try to inject something right at the top to see if we can do directory transversal. Now what we just did here is perfectly fine. I just want to show you there's more than one way. We could go up here. Now remember, Internet PL is the one that basically just controls this top part. Guest controls everything else. So we can change that Internet PL to guest.pl. Okay? And we can see if anything comes up. Well, nothing came up. Okay? So we can actually try to append something onto the end of it. How about guest.pl question mark, and we're going to give it an action. Action equals read, and we got to tell it what to read. So how about we say and file equals, because we don't know what file we want to read. So if we leave it blank, okay, getting a file not found is good, because that means that it did send the command. But since we didn't specify a file name, of course it couldn't find it. If we can specify a particular file inside of here, we could pull it up. Okay, so this is typically the way you want to go. You got to take a look at the Perl that runs the page, and then we send it an action other than what the buttons want to send it. Okay, So I'm going to go back to the Heartland School District. There is one thing to kind of understand. They told us that this was on a Windows box. Well, when you put something on a Windows box, it basically creates a folder structure directly off the root, usually the www folder. So I want to see if we can get to the root of the drive that this website is hosted to. Now, this is very simply just DOS commands. We just have to do a little bit different. We have to add something more to it. So this is where I'm going to give you a second. See if you can find out how to do directory transversal through an iframe. Okay. It's really a DOS command, but we have to put something in front of it for it to work. So I'll give you a second there to kind of figure that out, or to Google it, see if you can figure it out, because this is going to get us to, or at least the name of the page that we really want. So, give you a sec. Okay, so if we want to view the contents of, let's say, the C drive, as far back as we can go actually, you have to start it with file : // That basically takes the place of the HTTP. Okay, then we're going to take a look at C : / and look at what we get. We get, of course, their AutoExec command and config sys, which are needed for Windows 95. There's their program files folder, their Windows folder, and another folder called web. Well, that would be a nice one to have. So just I don't have to type this junk in again. I'm just going to paste this back up here, and I'm going to type in web. Hey, that's the web folder. Well, we could try these folders out. Let's take a look at them from the top down. How about the HTML folder? Copy this, paste it in here. Let's take a look at HTML. Oops. Oh, I didn't get rid of the HTTP up in the front. And the double slashes. Okay, here's our pages. We have a school picture, a main page, index page, banner picture, and look, Heartland admin panel.html. Oh, that would be nice. So, how about we go to that page? So, I'm going to go up here to the top. And everything after the 12/, I'm just going to type in Heartland admin panel.html. Okay, there's our hidden page. But we need to get into this. Now, again, we can try things like SQL injections. Invalid. We can try MySQL, invalid. We could even try to do other ones, but not susceptible to SQL injections. Alright, so we can't get into it that way. But if you remembered earlier, when we went to the students page, we were able to do an action read and file, and it came back file not found because we didn't have a file name there. Well, what if we do it with this file? Okay, so before we go, let's take a look at the code of this page. Okay. Again, it's not really an HTML page. Well, it is an HTML page, but this is the real page here. heartlandadminpanel.pl. That's the page we want. That's the one that controls it. Okay? So I've just copied that. Now, if we take a look at the rest of this, it's going to come in handy. It says username, name equals username, password, name equals password. Okay, so I've copied the adminpanel.pl, and I'm going to go back. Just going to keep going back. I'm going to go to student work. I'm going back to Joey. I'm going back to his guest book. You can see where the address has changed to the C prompt. Well, again, we want to get rid of internet.pl. That's the top part. We need guest.pl. Okay. Now we're going to put in the question mark, action, and in fact, let me do this so you guys can see it. Okay, so after the bin slash, okay, we're going to do guest.pl question mark action equals read, which we want to read the contents out of it, and the file is going to be called heartlandadminpanel.pl. That is what we want to type up here. And hit enter. Okay. You're going to get this really weird looking page. These are just a bunch of iframes. But let's view the source. And I'm going to zoom in on it. Remember I told you to take a look at that input type hidden username, input type hidden password? Look at what we got. We got their username and password. So I'm going to go ahead and come down here, and I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to copy this. Okay. Now, all we need to do is go back to the HTML page, the Heartland admin panel. Have it? Nope. Heartland admin panel.html. Oh, in fact, I already have it. Oh, I thought I already had it up over here. And go back. Well, I thought I could go back to it quick enough, but I can't. Heartland admin panel.html. We have the username, which is jbardis, and the password submit it, and here we go. So he's blocking by keywords. So these are all the keywords he put in here. He's blocking the whole dark web. Google, Yahoo, MSN, Mozilla. Okay, so we want to open it up for everybody. Clear all. Now, I'm going to get an error, but you should have gotten a congratulations, you completed mission 12. So the big things that we had to deal with the things that are starting to make these a little bit more complex is we're having to deal with more and more pages. And we're having to manipulate one page to get some information to get us into another page. When this started out, we could find the information on the page and then manipulate that page at the same time. Now we're having to deal with multiple pages from the site. And that's why I really like these missions, because this is the way that these sites are going to work. You have to find the most vulnerable page, get something from that page, and use it to gain a little bit of advantage to another page, which may give you a little bit more advantage to something else, which will eventually get you to where you want to go. When I've done things like CTF, capture the flag, if we have the time to do it, I will print out the code of the pages, or at least snapshot it and drop it in something so I can take a look at the code and understand the structure of the entire site to figure out where I need to go. And I always have a plan of action as to where I'm going to go before I even start. I typically don't just kind of go, I don't know, let me try this and see what happens. I mean, sometimes you have to do that, but I try to get a source of attack by understanding how their page structure works. Footprinting takes a very, very long time. Footprinting in Recon takes a very long time before you can actually start the attack, or you end up wasting a whole bunch of time. So take a look at the source code. If there's ever any forms on any site, always look at those fields and see what the actions are and see what it's meant to do and see if it points to other pages, because you can manipulate that data to have that form do something that you want it to do rather than what the webmaster intended for it to do. Alright, so that is mission 12. And if you guys like these videos, give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, let me know. I hope to get a couple of more of these missions out today. We'll just see how it goes, and then I don't know, maybe we'll start. I hadn't even played with the logic missions. Maybe we'll play around with some logic missions. Alright, but until next time, this is Malik, and I'm out.